Anime are so widely available these days that it's practically unheard of for something popular to go unlicensed, yet that's exactly what's happened with Girls Band Cry, never heard of it, and Blue Archive, which I have no bias towards whatsoever. Girls Band Cry is a particularly odd one because Toei, the same studio behind Dragon Ball and One Piece, who love to copyright strike YouTubers, produced a trailer for the anime subtitled in English and other languages with the claim that they wanted the anime to reach more overseas audiences, yet you literally can't watch it outside of Japan, unless you're a pirate. It's an anime about girls who form a band, which you definitely never would have seen coming, and it's about how they tackle their interpersonal relationships and obstacles given by life while in pursuit of their dreams. Yet it's when they decide to give up on those dreams that you know it's Jover, which is a real subtitle. The first episode itself is stunning with CG animation so good that it rivals Beastars and Trigun, and it sees our lead, Iseri, running away from home and coming to Tokyo before happening across the infinitely better character in Momoka, the girl who flips people off. That's hella based, I'm not gonna lie. Momoka, like Iseri, also ran away from home at 17, but that was 3 years ago, and she's lived the life of an idol already, but got burned in the process after leaving her group and selling the rights to her hit single, assuming she could just make another, when reality just isn't that simple. This leads to most of the episode being about Iseri encouraging Momoka to not give up on her dream when she clearly doesn't want to, as well as Iseri reminding her that, hey, her parents are kinda mean, so she has it just as hard, okay? Jokes aside, while the episode ends with the two of them coming together to form the aforementioned band, the writing does a great job at making them feel like real characters all the while, fabricating believable issues and responses as, yes, Iseri is a bit goofy in the way she constantly insists that her life is hard, but that's exactly how a teenager who ran away from home would think, and the writing conveys that perfectly, getting the point across in the same way having an anime YouTube channel does.
Virginity is cool, come on!
Even during the times where the writing becomes a bit tedious with the constant reminders that Iseri is a bit of a brat, the production side always makes sure to pick it right back up by opting to show rather than tell. From little things like the room darkening and Iseri slowly losing parts of herself when talking to her parents to illustrate how her family is soul-sucking to her, to more missable things like how Momoka's music gives Iseri color and washes her away from the crowd as if she's finally been heard and has found someone who really gets her. In general, the expressive dynamism of the 3D models are able to accurately capture their feelings and facial expressions in the way a time-stricken, traditionally cheaper 2D animated production may not have been able to, in addition to expertly using smaller, more basic things like proper lighting to show how the two characters share the same wavelength to make for some fine visual storytelling that conveys to the audience how the characters feel without bloating the runtime with nonsensical exposition dumping, which every isekai does, and it always makes me It's a very charming series all around, with fantastical music performances in both the opening and end of the first episode as the cherry on top, as they're able to perfectly encapsulate the characters' emotions to the tune of a banging song with fluid dance performances all around on account of the entire anime being in CG. And while it's a shame that you can't currently legally watch it, it is possible that Toei, who's been known to withhold streaming licenses for weeks on end, as seen with Dragon Ball Super, is just ordering Crunchyroll or whatever platform they're going with to wait a couple of weeks before simulcasting it. However, I highly doubt that's the case for Blue Archive, as they're clearly just gatekeeping it from us overseas cute and funny enjoyers.
I'm through playing games here.
The game has experienced a massive growth in popularity recently, which is always easy to tell by checking certain websites, so it's a bit odd that there's been no immediate way to stream it in the West. Being a fan of the gacha game myself, where I failed to get Swimsuit Oji-san, I fucking hate my life. Blue Archive was an anime I was really looking forward to, but even for newcomers, it's something to be excited about and will prove worth your time from the girls alone. As the plot is very simple, and the anime won't even cover most of it. Rather, it will, for the most part, follow the four main girls of Shiroko, Oji-san, Nonami, no one cares about this one, and Kat. Due to some shady behind-the-scenes dealings, their shithole school with only 5 students that's located in a bumfuck desert for, reasons, is as deep into debt that I'd like to be an Oji-san.
Why is he so hot?
So they take on a myriad of odd jobs to help pay it back, but it's far too much to actually do so normally. And although the general student council that runs the city has been ignoring their pleas for help up until this point, Sensei, this super hot twink who works for the student council, comes to their aid, and he cares deeply enough for his students that he'll even position himself for prime breeding material. While everything else you'd need to know is explained in the first episode, like how the city is in shambles because the president is missing, and how Sensei has stepped in with his shale organization to help reconnect the city, it's ultimately still the plot to a gacha game, so it doesn't have the best writing. And some things, like the halos, still aren't even explained in the game proper, but that's okay because
We're about to find out, honey. already. We just got started.
Fortunately, the anime is likely to cover the entirety of Volume 1 in its first season, so despite the rather heavy lore dump in the beginning of the first episode that insinuates darker things are bound to happen if Sensei doesn't properly help his students, it won't actually come into play anytime soon, so you don't need to feel as if you have to play the game to experience the anime properly, even though the anime makes the girls pretty dumb. So you gotta shoot at the enemy. Holy shit, I never thought of that. Unfortunately though, the more degenerate aspect of Sensei's characters seems to have been cut out, despite being more indicative to how the game actually is, as illustrated by certain choices in the game. Which is a bit disappointing, as that aspect also leans into the more comedic nature of the franchise that helps many of the unexplained lore bits become easier to digest. However, it's something that may be more present in future episodes, and they're at least making up for it on the production side of things by showing the audience what we really want to see. From the expertly crafted, bombastically animated OP that looks like the game brought to life, to the directorial flow of how they move seamlessly from scene to scene, which displays the idiosyncrasies of the setting as a whole without bogging down the story with lore dumping, and also enables the finer and more meticulous details to shine, such as the girls' daily lives and how they spend them, as well as the cities as though it were its own character, showing goofy scenes like robots and biker girls fighting each other to get across how normal that is to everyone, while also being fucking hilarious. While the fight scenes may feel a bit lackluster in their animation and general way they play out, that's due to the anime opting to put more detail into the character acting, not only through Kat's goofy faces, but also the subtle movements and emotions of characters like Oji-san, revealing how she feels about something without speaking a word of dialogue, which juxtaposes nicely with Kat, who conveys everything through dialogue, making fine use of its new medium to visually and audibly tell a story of two characters who are both hiding something. But what could that possibly be? Nothing. Because she's dumb. It was already a lot better written than many of its contemporaries, but now even its anime adaptation is superb, and all of those facets come together for the viewer's enjoyment in the case of both of these anime. And while I hope they'll at some point become available to watch legally, and they probably will, that could very well be after they've already finished airing, which would kill any growth they could have gotten. So just remember that anyone can be like Captain Jack Sparrow here, and to thank Kieferapfel and JayKonsu for becoming patrons. Please join and give me more than 2 names to say.